Hey everyone, it's Hirsch Wilson, and today is Tuesday, April 14th, and this is the next in this series of videos about how to survive and maybe even thrive through these difficult times. And if you're anything like me, you're probably bouncing around between grief, shock, denial, resignation, and even a little anger. And I think that's normal. Considering the times we're going through, I think all those emotions, all those feelings are normal. What's important is to acknowledge those feelings, let them flow over you, but try not to get captured by them, because we have work to do. In order to survive through these times, we have work to do, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to go back to that paper by Margaret Hageland and Nicole Cooper and talk about the next practice that can help us be more resilient and thrive even through difficult times. And the next practice is purpose. Having a life, having a mission in your life that's a cause higher than yourself. And that's what purpose really is. It's dedicating, in very simple terms, it's dedicating work and time to a cause greater than yourself. My example is the fire department. Being a firefighter is a highly purposeful vocation. When a 911 call goes off, we get to stop whatever we're doing and we get to go serve somebody else. It can be as dramatic as helping at a cardiac arrest to as simple as helping somebody back up into bed. But in those moments, what happens is we stop obsessing about ourselves and are focused on someone else. This, I think, is the most important and significant spiritual shift we can experience as individuals. And we call that shift from me to we, from stopping obsessing about ourselves and really focusing on someone else. The benefits of doing this are many, but I want to focus on two, other than being in service to a greater good. The first is that often when we're alone by ourselves, we can magnify the problems we have out of proportion. And when you're dealing with somebody else whose problems are more significant, they keep our problems in perspective. Secondly, we discover in the world that we're not alone. We're not alone with our problems. We're not alone with our crises. But everybody has a story. Everybody has problems that are difficult, that are tragic, or that can be small. So that again helps us with our perspective. So living a life of purpose allows us to get outside of ourselves, help others, and in the process help us keep our problems in perspective. So how do you build purpose in your life? Well, I think there's a couple things. First of all, there's a myth that having meaning or purpose is something that you have in a kind of a revelatory moment, a spiritual moment, and it just finds you. I don't think that's true. I think what happens is we have to go out and make it happen. I think of it, to break it down, I think there are two parts to having a purposeful life. One is finding a cause that you're interested in that's greater than yourself. I think my great discovery was being a volunteer firefighter. That really changed my life in many ways. It became, other than being a father, other than being a parent and a husband, the most important spiritual shift in my life was becoming a volunteer firefighter. I think a second thing then is once you've discovered something that is meaningful, that you're interested in, is using your unique talents to make a difference. So we all have unique talents. And today, in the crisis we're in right now, with the amount of people who need help and are crying out for help, there are all sorts of ways to learn to help, to be part of the solution. So that's how we build purpose in our lives, by knowing what we're interested in, what great cause we can find, and then using our unique talents to make a difference. Okay, to end, I just want to tell a story. A number of years ago, we had a really bad car crash, and there were fatalities. And as we often do in the fire department, we got together the next morning in our community and debriefed the call. We talked about what we could have done better. We talked about what went wrong. I think the subtext was we were also kind of checking in to see how everybody was doing. Paramedics stood up and said, you know what? The next couple of months are going to suck. There's a lot there, and I want to unpack it. First of all, we all knew exactly what he was talking about because we had been through this before. We knew that the next couple of months would be stressful. there'd be anxiety, there'd be nightmares, there'd be kind of recursively going through the call, wondering if we did everything we could to help. And this would go on for a couple of months. But the other important part is that we all knew that would only last a couple of months, that eventually the acute pain and the acute stress would go away and we'd get back to life. We wouldn't return to normal because those calls always change who you are, but we would get back to life. And that's kind of what we're going through now. It's stressful, it's causing an enormous amount of anxiety, and this is going to go on, and we don't know how long. But what firefighters can tell you is it's not going to last forever. We'll get over it. We'll be changed. Things are going to be different, but we will get through this and we'll be able to live our lives. So be well, and as I always say, be brave, be kind, and be useful. Now, if you'd like to see more of this series, you can go to my website, hirschwilson.com, where I've stored all these videos. Have a good afternoon, and let's get through this together.